Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Concord, North Carolina, here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, the newest Charlotte here on iRacing. As you see the Toyota restart zone on the start-finish line there. Of course, we're here for the Race X Next Gen Challenge Series, and tonight's race is the Caldwell Lawn Care Services 200, presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing. And I am for tonight's race. Charles Wooten alongside me in the booth here tonight is going to be none other than Will Duvall. Will, a few issues last week, but we're back here again this week to get this race underway. And it looks like about 23 cars so far. 22 have taken times. Should be a good race here in Charlotte.
It should be a fantastic race. Charlotte always produces good shows, good two-wide battling, sometimes even three-wide, even around the turns. This track puts on a great show every single time cars come out here.
It definitely does. Charlotte never disappoints, and I don't expect it to do it here tonight as well. The sun is basically setting here. I don't know if I'm going to call this a night race. It may transition into night before it's all said and done, but at the moment it is not a night race. Be interesting to see if it does go all the way down. We may see some fireworks here. Hopefully not on the track. Maybe after the race is over, we might see some fireworks off out of turn 4.
Yeah, we very well may see some fireworks out there. A lot of drivers maybe even frustrated at the end of the race. Charlotte's always known for having those battles, having those wrecks. Might see some frustration, a lot of fireworks when the race ends.
Yeah, I definitely see some frustration happening here. We've been talking a little bit to Teller, the admin here, one of the admins anyway, and you're seeing a lot of people as we see them running a little higher there, but it seems like the bottom lane is where everyone is really preferring to go. And here's we make a liar out of us. They are taking the high side, so one groove track. We'll see how that plays out. I'm hoping we'll see maybe 2 or 3 grooves here when it's all said and done. Again, the more rubber you lay down, you can go in those different lanes. But definitely, Will, I think we both agree, we do not want to see a single groove track. It doesn't produce very good racing. On the flip side of that, it can produce some decent racing, as you will have to, use that chrome horn or wait for somebody to make a mistake to get by them.
Yes, that is very true, and mistakes happen often on these shorter tracks like this. And one thing that you will see a lot this track, especially during qualifying probably, is drivers entering the turns up high and diving down into the turn. It's been my experience, you create a real big run on the exit when you do that, diving out of the turn instead of into the turn. Generate a lot of speed. You won't see a lot of drivers probably doing that early on in the race, trying to make up ground to battle their way through the field.
Yeah, they'll be battling for sure. Again, roughly 23 drivers. A really decent field here for this Race X Next Gen Challenge Series. Again, this whole race being brought to you by Caldwell Lawn Care Services. This is the Caldwell Lawn Care Services 200. And, of course, this whole series presented by Ohio and Indiana Roofing. We'll cover a little bit more of that later on in the night. Yeah, I have to say, Will, coming here to Charlotte Motor Speedway, this new rescan of this track looks so much better than the old one. One, it's newer technology they've used to scan the track, as we have a minute left in practice. But, just getting rid of that awful yellow wall. I'm sorry, Charlotte. That was an ugly wall. I like this red, white, and blue a lot better.
Absolutely, I have to agree with that. It seemed like everything at the old track was yellow. The inside line, we see where it's blue and white now. That used to be yellow, and then the outside wall bright yellow. And that, as a driver, whenever I'd show up here, that bright yellow wall was actually kind of distracting for me.
Yeah, it very well can be distracting, especially for someone, when you're trained to look for that caution. Yellow maybe not the best idea for the wall, but it is no longer yellow. It is now white with some blue and red on there. Definitely would have been cool to be here, last weekend possibly for the 4th of July, but We'll call this the 4th of July race for them, as it's shortly after. It's only the 9th here, just 5 days later. And speaking of things, that's going to do it for practice. Qualifying is going to be underway. They have 5 minutes to come out on this track. The question is, who's going to be the first one to come out onto that track and try to set a time? And it looks like it is going to be the 4 of Matthew McKeegan is going to be the first one out on a track. And thus far, the only one is Dale Osborne is also going to come out.
I see Matthew McKeegan making his way around the apron right now, pulling up on the track, starting up his warm-up lap. He'll get 2 laps to put in the best lap they can first time around after they come out of the pits, and just their warm-up lap, try to build up speed.
Yeah, and you've got to get as much speed as you can, as right there we'll start lap number 1 for Matthew McKeegan. We'll see how he does. We also have Kendall Lebaron out on track, Dale Osborne, Brian Snare, Troy Radford out on track, Brandon Metford, and Cade Green. Now Dustin Ping firing up his car. So a lot of cars coming out very quickly to get their laps in. No surprise there. You talk about 5 minutes. That's really not a lot of time, Will, in the grand scheme of things. You want to get out there and get your laps in. And right now this track does look awfully shaded out there, so it may be optimal for them.
Yeah, very well may be. Not real sure what track temperatures are looking like, but getting cooler as we get closer and closer to the night. We're going to see the tires grouping up a lot more in the short runs. And we got Dale Osborne out to the front at 28.9 seconds. Troy Radford second. Brian Snow third, and Matthew McMeekin taking up 4th place there.
Yeah, it's 74 degrees here. Track temp, 51% humidity, cloudy out. Not even partly cloudy. It is cloudy out with a 72 degrees track temperature. Or air temperature, sorry. Not a very hot track, only at 74 degrees. So these guys should have quite a bit of grip out on the track. It's just going to be a matter of how you're going to do it. Is that Line Creek Brewery Company number 08 of Tom Waterbaugh Jr. is out on the track right now. Troy Radford is still your fastest time with a currently 28.793. Again, it's going to be interesting to see how close these guys are. We saw in practice they were very close on times. Will that carry over into the actual race itself? And if they're close together, how many cautions are we going to see here at Charlotte? It's been known to have a lot of cautions, and it's been known to have very few cautions. Coming off of last week, they only had 1 caution, I do believe, as they played it very calm. So could we see a repeat of very few cautions here tonight as well?
Well, I sure hope so. It's very, very likely that could go either direction. You never know what the day may bring. Cautions breed cautions, what they say. Just one comes out, it seems like they constantly keep coming. The reason for that is, when you bring in a caution, everybody gets doubled back up and gets tightened back up together, and everybody's running tightly together, and just causes more issues. You see Alan Pajari out there getting loose out of turn number 4 and still taking second quick.
Yeah, he definitely does. Number 5, big platinum of Alan Pajari, setting a really fast time. And it looks like the 91 of Chris Wood going to have some connection issues here. We'll see if we can lock onto him there, Scotty. And it doesn't look like we can. I'm going to jump over to Brandon Metford in the 83 machine. But again, you want to set a good time here. You want to get as high as you can here. And, qualifying, to me, I've always said it, qualifying is qualifying. It really kind of sets the stage for the race, but it doesn't at the same time. I want to be up front, but I'd rather be up front late. And what qualifying does for me, Will, it gets me that pit spot, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4, even the top 5, I would settle for just to have that real estate on pit road so I can get in, get my stop, especially 1 and 2 spots. You can get out, hit the gas, and really don't have to worry about a speeding penalty when you leave.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to agree with that. I personally, like you said, I'd rather be starting about mid-pack or further back early in the race and, saving my power, saving my fuel, just driving the car easy. With these cooler track temperatures and having more grip in the car, you're going to see a lot more tire wear out there as drivers are going to push it real hard, and the tires probably won't last quite as long as they normally would.
That is definitely true, as it is time for your starting grid. And, I just have to say here as we get ready to go, I absolutely love the way they line up on the grid. So we'll go ahead and quickly get it up on the screen for you, as it's going to cut part of that off there. We do apologize for that. But your top 10 for tonight's race, we'll just do a top 12 here and then hand it over to Will. It's going to be Troy Radford in the 94, and Alan Pajari going to be starting on row 1. Row 2 is going to be Dale Osman in the 88 and Dustin Ping in the number 1, followed by Steve Baker in the 55. And Chris Canfield in the 03 machine. Going to be right below them is going to be Chris Wood in the 91 and the 43 of Brian Snare. And rounding out your top 10 here, going to be the 19 of Cade Green and Eric Blunt, and followed by 11 to 12 going to be Tom Quattlebaum Jr. in the 08 and the 4 of Matthew McKeegan.
Lining up in the number 13 position, going to be Brandon Mefford in the number 83 car, and to his outside, Roy Hyde in the 00. 15th position is going to be the 80 car of Brian Littleton, and his outside is going to be Travis Smith in the 95. Brian Miskell Jr. in the 33, seated in the number 17 position with Tyler Hilton in the 82. Kendall Lebaron in the 8 car in 19th. Chris Medford lining up on his outside in number 84. Josh Caudill in the 9 car in 21st. Doug Wasaki in the 34 on his outside. Brian Britt in the 05 lining up in 23rd position, rounding out your field.
And, we know Tyler Hilton there is listed as a driver. However, he is going to be race control as well, so he will not be racing. He did race one race. That was just to get the sponsor's name out there on that car for a driver that couldn't race. So he will be running race control here tonight as well. So we won't be seeing him behind the wheel. But there you see the field right there. As you can see, 24th, 25th, not going to be starting. So 23 cars going to be starting this race for 134 laps, Will. The question is it going to be a fast race? We're going to see some cautions. Well, to be honest, I don't know. You don't know. Nobody really knows until the green flag drops. I know it shows green on the screen, but officially it has not dropped. It's just going to be a toss-up. Going to go one way or the other. Cautions, no cautions? We'll know here soon, though.
It absolutely is, and it's been back and forth. Anytime I've ever been here for a Race X Challenge, Next Gen Challenge race, they've, it bounces back and forth. One race you have 9 cautions, the next race you have 2, the next race you have 5. It's just hard to tell. It bounces back and forth every time.
It is, and of course I do know they have put in a new 3-strike system. So 1 strike EOL, 2 strikes you get an EOL and a 5-point deduction. If you cause a 3rd incident, you get a 15-point deduction in the overall standings, and you are done for the night. You're parking it in the trailer and getting ready for next week as the green flag does come out. So as we watch these guys go here on lap number 1, that is a pretty stiff penalty system to lose 15 points if you cause 3 incidents. Then again, you cause 3 incidents, you probably should be getting a penalty.
I have to agree, and I've seen it in several leagues before. If you could cause a penalty, if you cause cautions, 2 or 3 cautions, and you're out in a lot of leagues, especially over on the dirt side.
Yeah, you don't want to be causing cautions. And a note here, I believe that's the Canfield, Chris Canfield in the 03. No, that is not. That is a little further back. That is Chris Wood in the 91. We'll go right around him. We're going to go to him as the number 6 is way loose, getting off the corner of Eric Blunt, and a good save for him. But we were talking about the 91 of Chris Wood. He's still having those connection issues as we progress into this race. Hopefully that can get sorted out. But Will, the battle up front is starting to heat up here between Del Osmond and Alan Pajari, as Pajari is going to take that spot away in the number 88, but I'm not set that he has that spot locked away.
It's really hard to tell. That's what I was talking about there in practice earlier on. This track is known quite well for its 2 and sometimes even 3 wide racing, even around the turns. You get that run around the outside, and sometimes it is the longer way around the track, but you can carry enough momentum to battle back on the car on the inside.
Yeah, and we saw in practice a little bit of 2 wide. We didn't see a whole lot. And let's see if we can't zoom out here just a little bit so we can get a wider angle. There we go. You can see, for the most part, it's a Congo line. Everybody's single file except for these 2 up the front in a second and third. Behind them, everybody really going single file. I kind of expected that, Will. I didn't expect them to get too crazy too fast. It's just not the style of these guys here, especially with that new penalty system. You really don't want to press too many issues. And this track is going to change over the course of this race. Remember, we told you the track temp was 74 degrees during qualifying. We look at it now, it's still 74 degrees. It hasn't changed yet. However, the humidity has, and so has the air temperature, which means that track temp is going to change as well. And we got our first caution for Chris Canfield. And we'll take a look and see what happened.
Caution is out. Chris Canfield involved in that one there. It looks like he gets turned by the number 1 car. Sending him up in the wall and spinning across the track.
Yeah, just a little bit of an incident there on a track. It's unfortunate for him, as he obviously is going to have to get that damage repaired, and I do not believe they have fast repairs. I'll have to check in and see if I can find out, but I do expect some guys to come down and take a stab at getting some fresh tires and fuel. We'll recap that when we come back. Of course, first caution of the night is brought to you by ETE Reman. So we're going to head over and pay the bills with a quick commercial break from them, and we'll be right back.
ETE Reman is the world's best remanufacturer of transmissions for import and domestic cars and trucks. Based in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, our customers are repair shops, auto parts stores, dealerships, and distributors. And with 6 nationwide warehouses, we're where and when you need us. So when you're looking for a transmission that is like new, only better, instill confidence and install ETE Reman.
All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, as talking a little bit here while we were under the caution break, and Will brought it to my attention. I kind of forgot about it, about how different this track is, the actual surface, than the previous predecessor here. We talk a lot about the yellow walls, but Will, what else is different here, better for these drivers now?
You know, this track has been repaved since the first scan, and then they brought this scan here out after it was repaved, and there was a big hole out of turn number 4. Like, you couldn't see it when you were looking at it, but if you were out there on the track, you could feel it, and that hole in that turn would turn the car around real quick. So when they did that rescan and after the repave of Charlotte, and it helped drivers out a lot and put on a lot better racing, as they weren't losing the cars coming out of turn 4 all the time.
Definitely do not want to be losing the car here. You know, one thing I do want to lose, though, Will, that's this pace truck. I think somebody forgot to tell him to get off the track, as it looks like he may have got the memo now. They are double filing, so it looks like whatever admins were having to sort out possibly there caution-wise, we are done, or it may have just been that long caution. And Will, Ned, you know, we've been doing Indy and Daytona and Talladega lately. We've been doing a lot of super speedways, and iRacing did add a feature in here recently where you could shorten the cautions at big tracks like that. We may have just kind of got spoiled here, Will, to those shorter cautions, and coming to somewhere like Charlotte where it's only 1.5 miles, we are running the full 5 laps under caution, which, by the way, takes forever.
Yes, it does, and you know, we may have very well just seen the admins trying to work something out. Looks like Dustin Ping has been sent to the rear after that last caution. Admins might have been taking a look at that and trying to figure out what to do about that last caution there, and that could have been what took us so long there as well.
It very well could have. A lot of things these guys have to work out before we are able to take the green flag. That being said, we are going to be taking the green flag here momentarily. So why not? We got this new feature, Will, where these cameras and these walls can shake. And why not let them have them do it? So let's mute ourselves, and you can see these walls rattle here as we go green. All right, we are back, and loving these camera angles here where you can just literally rattle the camera as they come by. We'll get back to our main camera here. And note here, while we were doing that, that was Troy Radford that was up at the front, and that's why the camera went a little bonkers. He has basically dipped out of the race. You said, Will, he is still in the lobby, but he's no longer on the racing surface.
That's why they're still showing him in the lobby, but he just kind of disappeared from out of the race. Not real sure what happened there, if it's connection issues or what's going on. He just went from being out in the lead to suddenly he's not there.
And speaking of in the lead right now, the number 88 of Dale Osborne, 29.26. He just set the fastest lap of the session right there. We'll see if anybody can beat that time, as he doesn't beat it that time by. The battles that can start the heat up between the 55 and the 5 of Steve Baker and Alan Pajari. Right behind them is going to be Eric Blunt, and actually Eric Blunt maybe making some ground up on the 5 of Pajari. But remember, that 6 of Blunt almost spun it out about 2 laps into this race. We're already 15 in as these laps are clicking away in a hurry. Now lap on 16. But that 6 may be going the wrong direction and now the 80 of Brian Littleton's going to get by him.
You see Brian Littleton shoot by him right there as we go back to the number 83 of Brandon Medford. See, he was battling just now with the 4-car Matthew McMeekin.
Yeah, McMeekin and Medford, they've been putting on a good little battle back here. Josh Cottle back there in the 9 Nike Just Do It. I believe that's a Camaro. Yes, it is. He's back there battling as well. You know, speak of the manufacturers, there you go right there. That is how they run. You want to talk about a stacked field? Well, there is a lot of bow tie here tonight. About, what, 3 Fords and only 1 Chevy. So this is a highly bow tie stacked field. Very interesting to not see very many Fords or Toyotas.
It really is, and you know, it's kind of sad to me to be looking out there and seeing so few Toyotas, as I am a Toyota fan. Then here lately, anytime I've been watching these league races, I've been seeing, you know, 1, 2, maybe 3 Toyotas out of a 20 to 30 car field. It's not real surprising there, but what is surprising to me is to see so few Fords out there.
Yeah, only 3. That is definitely, you know, I'm with you. You typically don't see a lot of Toyotas for whatever reason. But, yeah, to see that few of Fords, that is very surprising. That these guys are just not running with the Ford emblem there. Well, maybe the problem was circled and they had enough of it. I don't know, but we'll see if they have to get that joke. But Alan Bajari battling with Steve Baker, and I thought he had him passed in that 55 machine. No such luck here at the moment. Although Brian Littleton, you were talking about him in that 80 there a little bit ago. He has 11 spots to the good. He's not the biggest mover right now. That's Kendall Lebaron with 13, but 11 for Littleton and 13 for Lebaron. Those are some big movers here in this race already, and we're only 20 laps in.
That's right. You know, last week I wasn't able to catch the end of the race due to the connection issues, but Littleton, I did manage to see him come from the... He qualified up good, and he was running out front. He went to the back twice before we finally totally lost connection there last week. Made his way back up to the front. By the time I ended up having to disconnect, he was leading once again at, I believe it was Talladega last week.
Yeah, Talladega was a good race. Unfortunately, due to other circumstances, we didn't get to broadcast the coverage of it. We are going to be putting a highlight video. We're working on that at the moment. So we'll be putting that out on Facebook. Just go to LSR TV on Facebook. We'll be putting that out. But another little battle, it wasn't much of a battle anyway. The 8 of Kendall Lebaron. Again, 14 spots to the good. He gets by Eric Blunt. And, you know, well, I hate to say it about Eric Blunt, but we'll be blunt. That car is just not handling the way he wants. As now he's going to get passed by Matthew McMeekin. So the car ill handling here early in this race, and he is trying to fight back. But, you know, again, we've already seen him almost spin out, and now he's falling backwards through the field. Just a rough night here for that number 6 machine.
He does appear to be having a rough night, and you mentioned him almost spinning out earlier. Got to wonder how much wear that put on those tires. And I mean, this track is known for putting a lot of wear on the tires, as is. So it's hard to say what's going on there with his car. If his setup's maybe a little bit too loose, or if he's just, or if his tires just burn off already, as he might have pushed it too hard early on.
Yeah, definitely. And going back here a little further back, that is Brian Britt. He is 9 spots to the good. I can't tell what that says on the side of the car. It says something fiber, but hard to see what it says on the side of the car. I believe it says Starcom fiber. So a little twist on the Coors Light, I believe it was, Sterling Marlin throwback scheme with a new sponsor on the hood.
Yes, it is. I'm actually trying to right now to get confirmation on what that actually is on that car.
Does look like Starcom fiber. We'll have to look that up. Maybe a internet provider out there. But either way, he's 9 spots to the good right now. As Littleton, I think, may be your race leader here in the next little bit. As at the moment, he is .08. Man, that's not even going to be a challenge. Look how quickly that 80 gets by the 88. Littleton, now your new race leader, as Dell Osmond really didn't stand a chance there. I'm not sure. Maybe Osmond wore those tires out pretty quickly. But Littleton came through this field on fire, and he is now your race leader, and right there he's officially going to get it, as he's going to put that 88 Sundrop machine 1 spot down, but he's still 1 spot to the good. But Littleton, your new race leader.
Yes, he is, and Littleton has been flying through this field as he's 14 spots to the good. He is officially the biggest mover of the race so far, as he came all the way back from 14th position to the lead.
Yeah, he is, again, he's a man on a mission here tonight. And, you know, I would say he's the man to beat, but we are still early in this race. Here in the next, less than 10 laps will be less than 100 to go. So it'll be interesting to see how this does work out for Littleton. Is his momentum going to carry over to the finish of this race? Again, it doesn't matter how many laps you lead. You need to lead 1 lap, and that's the final one. From the time of the white flag waves to the checkered flag, somewhere in between there, you need to be leading, and it needs to be at the end is when you need to lead it, but you got to get it somewhere in between there. We go a little further back. You have a battle between, looks like Roy Hyde, who's 11 spots to the good right now, and Alan Pajari. Pajari going to fall back a little bit as Roy Hyde, another one of those, working his way to the front. 11 spots to the good in that 00. And another kind of throwback scheme. I won't say this is a 4th of July kind of throwback vintage scheme. However, it does probably resemble a plane that might have been used somewhere around the 4th.
It very well may have been. See if I can't maybe find us the name of the plane you're talking about there, but I believe I know what you're talking about. They used them back in World War II area. A beautiful looking car out there.
Yeah, definitely a nice looking ride. We'll keep an eye on him throughout this race. And they're starting to get a little spread out here as we're coming up on the 100 lap mark, or 100 to go lap mark here shortly. These guys are really starting to get spread out. This is probably one of the best battles on the track between the 33 and the 83 of Medford and Miskell Jr. That is Brandon Medford and Brian Miskell Jr. As that Dirty Mo Media number 33 machine is trying to have something on the high side for the 83. We'll see if he can make it work. And no, the door gets shut. He's not able to complete that pass. But that is one battle. You got another battle a few spots up. This time it's between, this one is Matthew McMeekin and Steve Baker. That battle underway as well.
Yes, it is. Matthew McMeekin catching up to Steve Baker in that number 4 car very, very quickly. They're in the 55 car, forgive me, very, very quickly, and putting the pressure on him hard. You see him right there, right on this bumper through the triangle up front.
He is indeed. It'll go to Steve Baker. We'll take a look from his rear bumper. This is what he's seeing in the rearview mirror right now, as they are all over his back bumper. I guess technically this would be from his gearbox camera. And take a look here. This is more what he sees right here, this view, as he's looking through that spoiler back there, which is semi-transparent up at the top, so you can see through. That was a complaint the real drivers had, as they couldn't see through. And look how close he is. Almost looks like he's going to be getting into him. And we got cars going around, and that will not bring out the caution so far for those two drivers. Miskell and Wood looks like he's in trouble as well. So a couple of drivers going off track. We'll take a look at it. However, the caution does not come out for this. They are out of harm's way.
And very disheartening to see that Dirty Mo Media number 33 get spun around. As we look here, they're diving into the turn. It's number 33 coming in there. Looks to me like it's just got a little bit of too much of a push coming out of that turn there, and gets into the front of the 83 and spins them both down into the grass.
Yeah, and technically fake grass at that, but regardless of that, the caution does not come out. We stay green flag racing on a lap number 36 now, as we officially have 99 laps to go, less than 100 to go here in the race. You know, overall though, Will, so we take a look back here, we got some battling going on, the 55 dropping. This race has gone by fairly quickly with just that one caution.
It really has, and I'm a little bit surprised. I expect to see more cautions early on in the race rather than later in the race. Expect to see different pit strategies with the cautions earlier in the race, allowing drivers to start getting spread out with different tire wear, different fuel situations. They've been able to keep it pretty clean this race and put on some pretty good running.
Yeah, again, we'll have to figure out what the fuel strategy is. We don't know how many fuel laps they have on the fuel. However, we do know one thing, and that is tire wear is going to be an issue, at least to an extent. They are going to have to come in for tires. At least they're going to want to anyway. So we'll see how that one goes. Our closest battle, Will, is all the way back in 14th position between Quattlebaum and Green, and that 08 and 19 machine, and it looks like Quattlebaum Jr. in the 08 is going to clear the 19. No, not quite yet. He's still with him. Right now your leader has a 1.2, almost going on 1.3 second gap over the 00 machine. That is a pretty sizable gap at the moment.
Yes, it is, and Brian Middleton actually quickest time on the racetrack last time by. As this time Roy Hyde puts up a faster lap time by almost a 1/10 and a half.
Yeah, and again, these lap times may keep going. We'll take one more look at the weather here. Your air temp down at 2 degrees. Your humidity still the same, still cloudy, but your track temp has gone up 1 degree. And that is because of all the heat they're laying down on the racing surface. Yes, this may be a sim, but the key word is their sim. These tracks are dynamic tracks. They do lay down heat as they go around here and lay down rubber. So that track will progressively go up as we lay down heat onto the track. That will change things throughout the course of this race as to see who is where. So, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how much the track warms up. And if we get a caution and we're not laying down the heat we were, that track temp's going to go back down. So if your car's handling better at a lower track temp, you're maybe looking for some cautions. If you want that track temp to go up, you're hoping for some green flag racing here for the remainder of this race.
Absolutely. One driver, this track temperature rising looks like it might be coming into play and into good effect for is the number 8 car of Kendall Lebaron, as he has been consistently the quickest time on the track for the last few laps. Last lap being a 32.34. That is 3/10 faster than our leader of Brian Littleton. He's been doing that several laps in the last 10 laps. He quickly gains on number 5 car, Valin Pajari, in front of him.
Yeah, we've got a lot of big movers up at the front as well. 14 spots gained for Littleton, 12 for Roy Hyde. You go a little further back, Lebaron 13, Travis Smith 8. He's now 7 now as he's going to lose one. We'll go watch that battle for a minute. And 13 right now for Brian Britt. So some big movers. We've also had some big losers here, unfortunately, too. They've lost a lot of spots. Chris Canfield has lost 15. Of course, he's out of the race. And 21 spots lost is Troy Radford, who we know had a connection issue early on in this race. So unfortunate for some of these guys. Others benefiting from that and are gaining a lot of spots.
Yeah, we know Troy Radford, his connection did drop. It was confirmed earlier his connection did drop, and that's what happened. Just basically gifted Dale Osborne in the 88 car the lead there for a short time before it got taken away by Brian Littleton and Roy Hyde up into second.
Yeah, again, Hyde is on a run right now. He's definitely going to the front. We'll see if he has anything for Littleton. You know, if you had to pick one driver you thought was the guy to beat here, even though it's early in the race, who's it going to be, Will?
Looking at it right now, who I think is going to be the guy to beat is actually going to be that 8 car Kendall Lebaron, as he is still putting down quicker laps than the leaders. I kind of think he's got something to prove here as he's working his way up through the field.
Yeah, definitely with you. And right now, everybody in the top 4 is basically double digits gained, with the exception and going to be Mckenna. And he's going to drop a spot there, as it looks like Matthew Mckenna going to come down pit road, and this looks to be a scheduled stop. He did not have any damage, so we're looking at about 45 to 46 laps on fuel. Well, actually a little less than that. No, he did not come down, so this is his first stop. So 46 laps of fuel with that one caution, so probably about 44 laps worth of fuel, as he's going to take at least 2 tires here on the right side. We'll see if he takes 4 tires. I don't see why he wouldn't. Again, this track eating up your tires as is, and he's going to take 4 tires. We also have Steve Baker coming down as well.
Yes, we do. Pitted that time around was Mckenna, Blunt, Osborne, Pajari, Green. And I believe the other Radford of Ray Radford as well, all coming into the pits that last time by. Brian Miskell in right now.
So several drivers that coming in. Again, Miskell Jr. right now, unfortunately, he is several laps down due to that incident, because it did not bring out a caution. Britt, he's going to take his 05 machine, and he is going to pull it back out onto the track here for a moment. Adds through those the few that we've seen, that is going to cycle Roy Hyde to the race lead. Littleton in the second position, as Hyde did get by him at the present time during those stops where we were watching the pit stops. As now someone who you talked about being fast, Littleton, he's coming down in the number 8 machine, who tires and fuel.
And it's Kendall Lebaron coming down out of 3rd place, and that 8 car is rolling into his pit stall now. He's been consistently quick out there and running consistently faster than our leaders. Coming in getting fresh tires prior to the guys that are out front, Roy Hyde and Brian Littleton. Got to wonder how much that's going to come into play, and if he's going to sit back and maybe try to conserve those tires since he pitted earlier as Brian Littleton rolls down now.
That Littleton going to come down, and makes you wonder when Roy Hyde is going to bring that's a number 00 machine down at pit road, get tires and fuel. And looks like, unfortunately, that 33 is going to remain on the pit road. He is not leaving, so unfortunate for him. He's going to go multiple laps down, even more than he already was. But 4 tires and fuel for the 80. He's off, and now, as we've talked about it, there's the 00 of Roy Hyde. He's going to bring that machine down pit road. And we're trying to cycle through this here now, as it's going to be Travis Smith, your new race leader. Dustin Ping has not pitted yet, as well as Quattlebaum, Wasaki, and Osborne and Pajari. Those drivers have not come down pit road. They've got to come down here soon and get fuel and tires, mostly fuel probably, but you're going to want tires too.
That's right, and the only cars left not to pit are Smith, Ping, Snare, Quattlebaum, and Wasaki. I believe they're the only cars left to not pit. And they are pushing it out as long as they can, and I personally have to say I agree with this move to drag it out as far as you can early in the race. That's the same move I would do. I'd run it out as much as I could, and as soon as I seen those other drivers getting ready to head out of pit road is probably when I would pit. What that would do for you is allow you to gain that track position and gain that ground as much as you can, get into pits, get out as quickly as you can, and try to hold as much of that as possible.
Yeah, you definitely the goal is to keep the lead coming out of the pits, and these guys are hanging in there. quite a bit. We're on lap 53, Will. 53. We have been live on the air here for 51 minutes. We've completed 52 laps, so about a minute a lap here. Actually less than that, because we had 5 minutes of, 10 minutes of, 5 minutes pre-roll. And then we, of course, had the 5 minutes of us just bantering like crazy people. And then, of course, we had qualifying. So 15 minutes of this was actually pre-roll, pre-show, and qualifying. So we are at a record pace right now with completed 53 laps in about 35 minutes.
That's right, and one thing you got to keep in mind is we've also run that one caution. These drivers run about 30 seconds, sometimes a little bit over, sometimes a little bit less per lap. So they're not real long laps here, doing 180 mile an hour around the turns down the straightaways. But then you factor in all those other things, it slows down a little bit. But with all the green flag run that we've been having, it's going by very, very quickly, and it's been quite a good show.
It has been a good show indeed. And you see here, some of these guys have not pitted yet. Some of the other drivers, though, have got their laps back. Like the 80 that we're watching right now of Middleton, as I believe, yes, he is back on the lead lap. He's 24 seconds behind your leader, but he's back on the lead lap. And we saw earlier, just a second ago, as Travis Smith's going to bring it down pit road. We were talking about him. He was getting passed like he was sitting still at a stoplight by these guys. So he has to come in and get tires. Those old tires just are not working right now. So 4 tires and fuel for that 95 of Travis Smith. Question is, when are these other drivers going to come down? They are literally sitting ducks out there on the track.
That is a very good question, Travis Ping. You saw him starting to slow down drastically over the last 2 laps, going from low 31 second laps to low 32 second laps. That's a full second that he lost over the last few laps, slowing it down to try to keep the car under control before he come into the pits. As he rolls back out now, heading around the apron to get his speed back up.
And while he's getting his speed up, Dustin Ping and Brian Snare are going to get theirs down to pit road speed, that is. We'll see if they are able to do so. The one gets in for a solid stop. The 43 already underway as well. Though, look here, we'll take a quick look at pit stops. As you can see right there, some of these guys have made 2 pit stops. Quattlebaum, one of those 2 stops. However, I do not believe he's been under this green flag stop. He may have came in earlier. Maybe he hasn't. Not sure. I do not believe he has come in just yet, so we'll keep an eye on that to see if he comes back down. But right now, and there he is right there as I'm hitting it up. The 08 in that Line Creek Brewing Company, Tom Quattlebaum going to bring it down pit road, giving the lead up to Del Osmond, followed by Alan Pajari and Roy Hyde and Brian Middleton hot on their heels, ready to take that lead back.
That's right. One thing of note, these guys are actually stopping more 4 tires than what they are for fuel. So I got to wonder if they're trying to save a little bit of time and just waiting the car and just throwing tires on right now and getting out. As these cars should be able to go close to 70 laps on fuel here at this 1.5 mile Charlotte.
Yeah, very well could. We may have to find out if they, is that based on, do we know if they have a limited fuel or are they running 100% fuel in the tank?
I will see if I can take a look and find out and let you know.
While we try to dig that information out of the system here, Del Osmond still out front, followed by Alan Pajari. Pajari a little ways behind him in the number 5 machine, but look who is right on his back bumper. That is both Hyde and Middleton. Rolled over the back bumper of Pajari. Pajari has got to come in and get some fresh tires. He is getting eaten alive right now in that number 5 machine, as Littleton looking to get by him. Hyde just got by him, and Littleton makes the pass there. So my guess, Will, Pajari and Osmond going to have to be coming in here in the next 2 or 3 laps.
They are going to have to come in soon, as they are getting caught very quickly. And that is an affirmative. They are running 75% fuel is all that they are allowed to have in the car. 75% max fuel in their car that they're running here tonight.
Oh, there you have it. So they're going to be running 25% less fuel than a full tank around this track. So the full tank gets you 70. They're probably going to be somewhere, 50 laps maybe on fuel. Which we'll have to confirm with that. That is napkin math, not the perfect math out there. As Dale Osmond still leading this in that Sunground number 88 machine. But again, personally, this track, I think tires are going to be more important than fuel anyway. As you can already see, we'll see if we can zoom out just a little bit here and take a look at this. There's your leader, Dale Osmond, right there on the camera. Second place, we'll switch to him when we get to the line, and we'll count it down. The difference there is right. There's the line. There's second and third right now. Coming up behind him, and Roy Hyde and Brian Middleton. They are running him down in a hurry. Again, you are a sitting duck on old tires.
Yes, you are. And second place of Roy Hyde and third place of Brian Littleton are running over a half a second faster than Dale Osmond. The second prior to that last one there, 0.8 of a second, Roy Hyde was faster than Dale Osmond, because it showed just how much those old tires do to the car.
Yeah, and right there you see, like taking candy from a baby. As he just takes that lead away, he'll drop to third. If I'm Dale Osmond, this is the time. You've already lost the lead. You're not leading laps anymore. You would come down, get 4 tires and fuel. Again, that would be my strategy if I was in the 88th driver's seat right now. However, I'm in the booth. I'm not behind the wheel, and that doesn't seem to be the case for him. He is going to keep going here at the moment. He is not coming down to pit road. The real question here, though, Will, is how much tire does the 80 have left to try to get by that 00?
You know, I think they're still doing all right, as the 80 car and the 00 car are actually running almost identical times with a 30.6 and a 30.61. So extremely, extremely close on times. I think they're going to be almost about the same playing field when it boils down to it.
Yeah, definitely agree with you there. Again, it's going to be a very interesting one towards the end of this race. And this is if we stay green. Will we stay green? Will we see cautions? Cautions tend to breed cautions, so if we get 1 or 2, we may see that 3 or 4 come into play. We've already seen 1, but it didn't seem to breed its little brothers or sisters. So we'll see if that's the case later on in the night. As we watch this, there's another little battle further back in this field. And that is between, I believe that's the 4. Yes, it is Matthew McMeekin and Steve Baker. Those two putting on one, an even closer battle further back in the field between the 1 and the 19 of Justin Ping and Cade Green. But not much of a challenge, as Ping, well, he's checked out, said see you later to Green.
Yes, he has. Ping has been just running around here. He's 7 spots down, but he's still putting down a really good lap times. I'll remember if he's pitted yet or not, showing him a lap down. So it looks like, yes, he has pitted. Waiting to see whether or not he can get this going and catch up to Brian Snare up there in front of him.
Yeah, and there you go, right there. The 1 of Dustin Ping gets by. The 88 is just past him big time right now. These old tires definitely are not good against these new tires. You want the new tires every chance you can get. For some of these guys to stay out as long as you have is very interesting.
It absolutely is. Dale Osmond still out there running. He's sitting in 3rd place right now, turning 31.8 second laps. Been falling behind more and more each and every lap.
Yeah, and note here, we'll have to go back and look. We were talking about Lebaron being so good. He is out of the race. I'm not sure what happened. We didn't get a caution. And according to, we're looking at the scoring tower here, I don't see any reason Actually, we'll take a look here as we'll take a really quick. This is the cause right here. He spins it out, goes into the grass, and I guess he decides to pack it up. He hits the wall, and he's done for the night. He does not opt to get any damage repaired. So, unfortunate for Kendall Lebaron, who had a fast car, but unfortunately, a little incident like that, and he's out of the race.
That is very unfortunate. Looking back at that, it looks like it was shortly after his pit stop. I wonder if he was still on cold tires and pushed a little bit hard and just spun the tires a little bit, as he had just come back out of the pits before losing it right there. So he's still on cold tires, and cold tires making a big difference in these cars. These cars are very aerodynamic sensitive, tire sensitive. When you're out there on cold tires, you don't have any temperature in those tires, you have no grip.
Yeah, it's unfortunate when stuff like that happens, especially when I think he had a good shot at a top 10 finish. Just unfortunately not going to happen here tonight. So he'll regroup, try it again, and I'm sure we'll see him back here in the next couple of weeks. But again, it's just unfortunate for such a talented driver. But Hyde out front. Look at this group of cars back here around the 80 here of Middleton. That is the 43 and the 1. They are not on the lead lap right now. They are actually laps down. However, they do have a little bit fresher tires. So even being a lap car, one lap down, having those fresher tires, you can see just how good they are to have nice tires.
They absolutely are, and just with out there with those fresh tires, these cars are so much quicker. The best lap of the night, clear down in the 29s, 29.3 looks like it was the best lap turn tonight, and they're turning, the driver that turned the 29.3 is turning 32.09s right now. That goes to show just how much tire wear plays effect.
Yeah, tire wear is a huge factor here. We'll see. We got a little bit of a battle starting to brew here with the 55 and the 4 again. Again, because of the lack of cautions and green flag stops, these drivers are really starting to get spread out on the track. And it's unfortunate. We'd like to see them all bunched up, but at the flip side of it, we've had some good green flag racing as well. You know, if you're Hyde, maybe even Middleton, I'm not sure if I want to see a caution. But if you're anybody else behind these guys, especially these guys like King, Snare, Quattlebaum, Green, and Wasaki, these guys really want to see a caution. They want to get their lap back from the wave around in the Lucky Dog, and they want to be back in this thing. Quite frankly, well, I kind of want to see it too. I don't want to see a handful of cautions, too many, but I do want to see one or two so we can see some of these guys get back on the lead lap and go out here and see if they've got something for these leaders.
Absolutely. I would love to see at least one caution and see what Brian Middleton and Dale Osborne have for Roy Hyde. I've been watching the lap times really closely, and they've been really close together, jockeying back and forth as to who's got the quicker lap. Every single lap when they come around, you never know which one of the three is going to be quicker the next lap. But right now they're spread out. Brian Middleton just under a second and a half behind Roy Hyde, and Dale Osborne just over 6.5 seconds behind the first place drivers. So I'd love to see what they've got for each other if we get them all bunched up in one caution, but one or two cautions would be the ideal. Question is, if we were to get a caution, would we keep it just one, maybe two more cautions?
Yeah, again, cautions do breed cautions. Is Ray Radford going to come down to pit road in the number 47? I do not think this is a round of pit stops we're going to see going at the time, but right now, we have only, out of 23 drivers that started, currently only 15 of them are on the track, and only 9 of those are on the lead lap. So, you know, if you're contemplating 2 tires, 4 tires, or anything like that crazy, if we get a caution, you know, keep in mind, there's only 9 cars on the lead lap and only 15 in the race. You won't have that many to, spots to make up. So we may see some gambling if we get a caution late in this race, as it's already lap number 81.
We very well may see a lot of gambling going on, see some drivers stretching it out as much as possible, as we have reached quite a ways beyond halfway now. We're going to see a lot more strategy coming into play than what we did on that first green flag stop. Drivers most likely going to be stretching the tires, stretching that fuel as far as they can. I just see Roy Hyde right there just let the number 1 car of Dustin Ping go by, and that's a lapped car, so that means Roy Hyde is either losing speed or he's allowing these guys to go by to try to save his tires and fuel.
Yeah, I think he's probably allowing them to go by, and he could have, worn those tires out. We'll look at the pit laps with these guys real quick, and you can see right there, Hyde was last on lap 50. The car that got by him was Ping on lap 56, so there are 6 laps difference in those tires between the 00 and Ping in the 1. Is 6 laps a huge difference? Most tracks, no. Here, it very well could be a difference, and that could be why we saw Ping get by him as easy as he did. So we'll just have to keep an eye on that and see how the rest of it changes. But right now, Middleton also letting the 43 get by. So we'll see. Again, the 43 not on the lead lap. He is 1 lap down. That is Snare. He is actually the first car lap down. So he is definitely trying to get his lap back, and he's pretty close to doing it. Roy Hyde's right in front of him. So could we see him get his lap back the old-fashioned way here?
It is very possible right now. I just seen Brian Littleton go blazing by him. Brian Littleton is back on the move as he's gaining on the Roy Hyde very, very quickly. We might have a battle here in the next 5 or 6 laps.
Yeah, very well could have a battle. Again, Hyde and Littleton, definitely going to be the class of the field here tonight. We hate to call 1, 2 drivers we think are the ones to beat, but unfortunately, Hyde and Littleton are going to be those 2 drivers here tonight. That being said, I think Ping's fast. He's just, unfortunately, at the tail end of the lead lap. And Kendall Lebaron had a fast car, was up front. He was doing good, and then disaster struck for him. So we had really 3 cars I think could have possibly had a shot here based on what we saw. Other drivers may have had a chance if things had worked out a little better for them, but those 3 having a good shot. And just unfortunately for Lebaron not working out, but we do have the 05 that's funded out coming down pit road.
Yes, we do. The 05 aiming to come down pit road as it looks like we're about to head towards the next round of pit stops, would be my guess. Managed to gather back up and drive it back to the pits, but that's going to hurt him quite a bit in the long run, as that's cost him a lot of time on pit road.
It is indeed. And again, if we know a full tank can get you about 70 laps or so, and they are running 25% less than that 75% tank, we'll have to do the math on there, but roughly 50-ish laps. There was 52 laps to go a little while ago, so this would be the money stop if they can make it 50 laps, because we are under 50 to go right now, so they could stop one more time and make it to the end. The question is, if our math is correct, and we're doing this on napkins right now. It's not formal, it's probably not even good. But if they can go about 50 laps on fuel, and we have less than 50 to go, when do you come in? Do you come in as early as possible, top off, get tires and go? Or do you hold off, waiting, maybe a caution comes out, and do you want to have a little extra in the tank if we get a green, white, checkered? Or in the event of a green, white, checkered, are you coming down for tires anyway?
Well, if we happen to stay green, if I'm Brian Littleton and Roy Hyde, I'm going to stick it out as long as I can. I'm going to keep watching. These drivers have a little thing called a relative down on the bottom of the screen. It tells them exactly how far the cars behind them are. And if I'm Brian Littleton and Roy Hyde, I'm going to be watching that down there and seeing if Dale Osborne starts running me down before I decide to make a pit stop. And if we end up with a green, white, checkered or something along those lines there, I'm probably going to be watching the car behind me to see if they're going to head down pit road, because if they're not going to head down pit road, or it doesn't look like they are, I'm going to stay out on the track and not lose any more positions.
Yeah, I'm definitely with you. Again, strategy is so crazy. You can never predict what these guys are going to do. We do our best to, but we definitely we don't know what's going on in the heads of these drivers. So we just have to watch. We do know what is happening, though. That is the 4 Matthew Mckenna is coming down pit road into that number 4 Navy machine. We'll see if he's going to make a good stop here. Again, we're predicting that this could be the money stop for these drivers if they can make it. So we're going to be coming up on about 34 laps to go here in the next 8 laps, 9 laps. So they definitely have to make it count. And Dale Osmond is going to come down pit road as well.
That's right. I'm going to have to agree with Dale Osmond and McMeekin on this stop here. Take your stop a little bit early, knowing that you can finish out the race on this next stop. Get everything you got. Get back out there, get your lap back, and see if you can push that thing hard enough to get back past the leaders, who's the people that are leading the race right now, which is Roy Hyde, Brian Middleton, and Travis Smith out there out front. I'll be pushing that car real hard to get back around them, get my lap back, try to get a second lap around them before they get back up to speed.
Yeah, and haven't seen it yet. You'll see a cone here in a minute, and it should be coming up here shortly, I do believe. And is there a cone here? It doesn't look like there is a blue cone here at this track.
There is a cone, but on this track it's a little bit closer to that inside wall, so unless you're on the outside of the car, you're probably not going to see the cone. But it is there. It is a real small blue cone. What that cone is that he's talking about is that's the pit lane exit cone. You're not allowed to exit the apron until after you pass that blue cone and the white line coming off of it.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to cross that before the blue cone. That is a big no-no, and iRacing will bust you for it every single time. As we have the 00 coming down of Roy Hyde. He's going to go ahead and get some new Hyde on those tires, as we're saying, as he's going to come to a stop. Very good stop for him indeed, as he's going to take 4 tires and fuel again. When we call this the money stop, for anyone that's unfamiliar with that term here in racing, it is the stop that must count good. You cannot have any mistakes on it. And again, this money stop per se is based on if we do not get a caution. This would be their last stop. If we get a caution, we've pretty much already clarified that one here for everybody. If you've had more than, I'll say, 10 laps on your tires, you're coming down pit road to make something happen. And somebody is having issues there, but I'm not sure who it is. But Brian Middleton is on pit road as well.
That's right, Brian Middleton out of second position down pit road. He's rolling out of his pit stall now. He's only dropped back to 4th. That looked like a very good pit stop for him. Getting back out there and ready to roll back around this track. He's not lost a whole lot.
No, it
looks like
good.
It looks like all the drivers out front of him have not pitted yet. So this might be the one for Brian Littleton as to whether or not he can catch back up to Roy Hyde and Osmond. It looks like they're the only cars that have gotten back out ahead of him that have pitted.
And, you know, I mentioned there, I thought I saw someone off the track. Well, here you go. Here's the replay of it. And I believe it was when he came off of pit road. Something happened with a 19 of Cade Green. As you're about to see it, I believe it was a classic mistake of cold tires. We'll see what happened here on the replay. That's right there. Cold tires didn't agree with him. He gets it spun out coming off of the pit road. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. Granted, he wasn't having a terrific day, but he was having a decent day. And unfortunately, that's going to cost him some time, as Travis Smith, your race leader, going to be coming up behind him here shortly to this compound on top of that already 2 laps down.
That's right. Just to clarify a little bit more as to exactly what happened there. Here is Charlotte on that line right around where he spun. It is not a gradual change from a flat to the banking right there. It is a sudden break in the asphalt right there. As it goes from flat to a straight up bank. It doesn't smooth out or nothing. So especially when you're out there on cold tires and you hit that, it's going to throw your car and it's going to take you right around real quick.
Exactly what happened. As speaking of coming down the road, the 08 of Tom Bottleball Jr. going to be bringing it down for his stop. We'll see just how it plays out. And he comes in, stops clean, and he'll take 4 tires and a fuel as we jump back to the front of this pack, or close to the front anyway. That is going to be Roy Hyde and Dale Osmond that are currently battling. That is for 5th position, as your leader is going to give up the lead. Travis Smith in 95 comes down pit road.
And Travis Smith going down pit road. The number 95, if I remember correctly, he actually just pitted. This is not... Did he maybe pick up a penalty or something?
We'll see. It doesn't look like he is taking 4 tires and fuel. Of course, if you were under penalty, you would not be able to take tires and fuel. You would have to stop and go or a drive-through. And no, he is not going to, so he is off and away. So if he came down before, he's coming down again just for good measure. As we look, Dustin King going to be coming in as Travis Smith leaves. Doug Wasaki going to be coming down as well in the number 34. So green flag pit stops are underway as Alan Bajari is your race leader now in that number 5 machine. Again, we have less than 30 laps to go. Sorry, no, we don't. Less than 40. We'll go with that. Coming up here in 3 laps, we'll have 30 laps to go.
That's right. Alan Bajari is our current race leader. But Roy Hyde is catching him very quickly. It's the last time by. He was a half a second quicker than Alan Bajari, and Alan Bajari has not yet pitted, so he's on old tires, and it is showing very badly. There's right there was exactly a second difference, with a 30.914 from Bajari and a 29.914 from Hyde.
Yeah, you definitely want fresh tires. And some of these guys, Alan Bajari has been towards the front of this field. Some of these guys that maybe have been towards the back of the field, maybe trying to, press the issue and stay up there and lead some laps, possibly get a caution and maintain their position up front. That's not the case for Bajari. Bajari, I think, will be coming down this time. He's been up there. And just like that, Roy Hyde's going to get by him. Osbond's going to get by him. So now Roy Hyde back to the front. The car I want to keep an eye on, though, Will, is Brian Littleton. He's had a fast car. So has Hyde. Will Littleton have anything for Hyde here tonight, though?
That is a very good question. I think right now the biggest question is, are we going to see a caution allow him to get up there? As Brian Littleton that last time by was 0.4 of a second faster than Roy Hyde. Brian Littleton still having 30 laps to go right now. Brian Littleton might be saving a little bit for the last 15 laps, since he's only 1.7 seconds behind, give or take.
Yeah, he's not that far behind. He could definitely make that up, as he's going to get by Alan Bajari. No surprise there. Again, Alan Bajari has not come down during this green flag stop. Or stops, and he has got some seriously old tires that he is working with. So he wants to come down, or needs to come down, probably get those swapped out for some good, fresh Goodyears. And right now, Littleton looking like he wants to get the victory lane so he can celebrate with some of that Michelob. Wow, Michelob, I can not speak today.
Michelob
Either way,
Ultra.
he's wanting to celebrate without some of that alcoholic beverage. But we'll see if that's the case. Hyde has other plans, as Hyde is out front right now. Like you said, less than 30 laps to go in this race. Hyde is ticking away if you have something for that 00 machine, as he is just out front and on rails right now.
He really is, and the last couple of laps have been almost identical between Roy Hyde and Brian Littleton, but Brian Littleton is catching Osbond pretty quickly, as that lap right there, Littleton was a half a second quicker than Osbond. It ain't gonna take him but a couple more laps and he'll be making his move on Osbond.
Yeah, it will be interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. See how everything plays out. Osborne, he is going to lose that spot to Littleton as he is 0.14131099, and there you go. That is not as easy as it gets right there when you're making a pass. As Littleton going to say, see you later here, hold this beer, I'm going past you. And if I was in there with that communication when the 8 says here, hold my beer, well, the 88th place says, nah, I'm good, I got a sun drop. So, well, we'll see. Sun drop 88 of Dell Osmond going to fall one spot to Littleton. Littleton on his way. You want to note here, Will, the top 2 are both plus 13.
That is correct. They have come through the field to get up here where they are right now. With Littleton actually starting to lose ground on Hyde, but still seems to be pretty well locked into the first and second as long as nothing happens throughout the rest of this race.
That's definitely going to be an interesting battle to see how it goes as we're coming up on, what, about 25 laps to go, roughly. Again, my napkin math is not good. I mean, my regular math is a good, Will, but much less napkin math.
That would be 24 laps to go.
So I was close. I was very close on the napkin math. You know, I guess, you know, every clock's right twice a day, right?
Every broken clock is right twice a day. And there was another joke that went along with that one there, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
Now, it sounds to me like you're just like me. Memory problems as, the 6 is going to take a hard lick to the outside wall. That is Eric Blunt. He is a lap down right now. The first car a lap down, but he saw some sparks flying. He tried to get out of the way of the 80, and in the process scraped the wall pretty good. Unfortunate for him, but it does happen from time to time. Just to give you an idea of how many cars to lap down, because, you know, you can see it on the left-hand side of the screen. There you go. Blue names are a lap down. The ones in white down at the bottom, 24th to 25th, did not even start the race. They don't have times, period. But all of those blue names are laps down or at the tail end of the lead lap. Right now, you have Baker, Mckenna, and Smith. These guys are in jeopardy of going a lap down here shortly. With 16 seconds behind the leader, 23 for Smith. We'll see if that 95 can do something there, but these guys could potentially catch more lap traffic and put them a lap down before this race is over, Bill.
They very well could. And number 95, Travis Smith, at 23 seconds behind the leaders. That's only about 6 to 7 seconds in front of them. So it ain't going to take them very long to get caught up to Travis Smith if we manage to stay green here.
No, it's not, and there he is behind him. And again, Travis Smith in the 95, he was doing good on the track, and that car just maybe went to ill handling pretty quick. And unfortunately, he has not really been able to recover from it. Again, so many variables can change here. We haven't checked in a little bit. So let's take a look at your weather real fast here. As that track, again, it was going the opposite direction a little while ago. It was that 70-ish, 74, 75. It was going up. We were laying down heat in the track, but now we have a variable that is working against the heat of the track. And the sun has set, and now the track is going in the opposite direction. Here it's going down to 73 from 75, and it will continue to drop throughout this race. So the sun down, it's a night race now.
That's right. We are now under the lights. Been under the lights for probably, I think, about half this race now. It's just this race has gone by very quickly. The sun has set very quickly right along with it. Only 7 cars left on the lead lap, and the fastest car on the track, believe it or not, is actually that number 95 of Travis Smith. He's been the fastest car several laps in a row now.
Yeah, again, it goes to show you he had a fast car, just didn't have the luck he needed here tonight. You know, you can do everything right, But if Lady Luck is not on your side, you really don't stand a chance. Lady Luck, she can be a very, very good ally, or she can be a total pain in the you-know-what, and just nothing goes right for you. Right now, he's having, again, a fairly decent night. He is in 7th place at the moment. He's on the tail end of the lead lap with 30-ish second laps, about 29 to 31. He's 21 seconds down. He may be safe from going a lap down, but still not going to be the night he wanted here tonight.
No, it is not. I think that has a lot to do with pit strategies, and I think Roy Hyde, Brian Littleton, Dale Osborne had the strategy to beat when it comes to pit strategies. And Roy Hyde and Brian Littleton classed the field with the car to beat as well, which made it very tough to beat those two drivers.
Yeah, those two definitely a class of the field. We got a little bit of a battle maybe starting to brew here between the 4 of Matthew McMeekin and the 55 of Steve Baker. That battle potentially going to be something to watch here shortly. Right now about 2/10 separating them, and that's going to go up to 3/10. So that battle is slowly fizzling itself out just about as quickly as it started. Without that battle on track, the only other battle that is fairly close, that is less than a second, is the battle for the lead, and it's not much of a battle yet, about 7/10 separating them. The question is, can Littleton make up that gap and get to the back bumper of Hyde and make the pass for the win here tonight?
Well, if I'm sitting here looking at this correctly, Littleton was almost 0.2 of a second faster than Roy Hyde. That's just now taken the lap to make it 13 laps to go. If they continue that pattern with Littleton 0.2 of a second faster, it's only going to take him about 5 laps, and he'll be right on the tail end of Roy Hyde, and we'll have a battle for the lead coming to the end of the race.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, this is all our predictions of math here. We'll see if it does unfold that way, as we still have this battle going on between McMeekin and Baker. Baker, he gets a shot in the shorts from the 4 of McMeekin, as he does let off. He's not going to spin him out. He does an amazing job of getting off his back bumper to not spin him, and the 55 does a good job of saving that with Steve Baker. So a lot of good battling transpired here early in the race. We're starting to see little pockets of battles going on throughout the track, but green flag racing, green flag pit stops has really spread out this field right now, as we're coming up on 10 laps to go this time by.
That's right. Still looking at that battle between the number 55 of Baker and the 95 of 4 car of McMeekin. They've been side by side for an entire lap now, with Baker on the inside as they cross the line. Not giving up anything on the inside or the outside between McMeekin and Baker.
So neither one of them giving up anything, literally side by side right now, as these two zoom in on them. Right now, McMeekin has the advantage on the high side. Here comes Steve Baker, though. And no, I think the high side is going to be the dominant side. Just like in most dirt tracks, that high side just working really well for McMeekin in the 4. He'll officially take over the position, and again, that is currently for 5th in a top 5. These two have battled together so long. Here comes Travis Smith back into the picture. Again, he is not going to be a contender for the win here tonight unless something drastic happens. But Steve Baker and Matthew McMeekin have battled so long, they allowed Travis Smith to catch him.
That's right. Travis Smith looking to make himself a cushion between him and the leaders. Doesn't look like leaders going to have time to catch him anyways, but he just, there's something about that mental security of make sure you have a car between you and the leaders that makes you feel a lot better when you're out there on the track.
Yeah, you definitely like having the extra cushion between you and any cars coming to try to put your lap down, pass you, whatever it may be, whether it's lead lap, lap car, doesn't matter. The 95 is going to try to go below the apron there, can't make it work. And again, I'm not sure on the ruling here below the apron. Again, it's not a yellow line. It is a blue and white line. So I'm not sure on the ruling on there if you went below the apron to make a pass, but contact between the 95 and the 55.
And Smith is able to take away that position from Baker, creating that little gap between him and the leaders even bigger there. And just to reiterate on that rule with the line down there on the apron, when it comes to short tracks, they don't really have much of a rule down there. If you want to cross that line, it's up to you. It is a danger zone. It's the reason why that line is there. It's just kind of a safety marker there. It's very, very slick down there. There's a lot of marbles down there where the rubber comes off the tires and just kind of rolls up down there. And you get down there, it's very, very dangerous. When you see that solid yellow line or a double yellow line is what they run in NASCAR these days, that's when you don't want to cross that line, or you could get a black flag.
I definitely do not want to cross it, and it almost happened, but he didn't quite do it, I don't think. But the 95 kind of coming to life here in these last few laps to get by Steve Baker, but I think a little bit of that, I don't know if I would say I said it, but I don't know if I really say Travis Smith's coming to life here in the closing laps. We'll see if he's able to run down the floor of Alan Pajari. I think these two may have worn out their tires drastically more than they wanted to running side by side like that, and that is what allowed the 95 to reel him in, and now he's got fresher tires, and we got a battle for the lead starting to heat up right now. 1/10 separating Roy Hyde and Brian Middleton for the race win here with 4 laps to go.
That's right. If you remember correctly, just about 6 laps ago I called it. I said in 5 laps. I was about 1 lap off, though. Said Brian Middleton kept up the pace he was going. He was going to be on Roy Hyde in 5 laps. And he's back up there right now as they're just under 0.2 of a second apart. 0.2 of a second apart is only about the length of your car. So they're tight together right there. Brian Middleton's putting the pressure on Roy Hyde now.
Yeah, this is really going to come down to who has the tires, I think, and who doesn't make a mistake. As we pull up your pit lap real quick here onto the screen, and you look, right now Roy Hyde, he was last on pit road 94, lap 95 for Littleton. Oh, as Littleton gets way loose coming out of the corner, and that may have sealed the fate right there, as we have 2 laps to go right now for your leader, Roy Hyde.
That very well may have sealed his fate, causing 2 things right there. One, that's a loss of 0.2 of a second right there. And the second thing is that little bobble. That little tiny bobble puts a lot of wear on your tires. As all 4 of your tires end up sliding when you get a bobble like that, and it slows your car down a lot.
Yeah, it's the last thing you want to do. As there you see, white flag is in the air for your race leader, Roy Hyde. And about 0.3 separating the top 2. I don't think Littleton is going to have anything for Hyde unless Hyde makes a mistake. And the reason I don't think he has anything for him is because of that little mistake that Littleton made. Again, Littleton made a little mistake, and it cost him big here at Charlotte. I think he might have had that win, or at least gave him a good run for his money, but it's not going to happen, as your race winner here tonight is going to be Roy Hyde in the 00 machine.
That's right, you got Roy Hyde taking the win over Brian Littleton in second, Dale Osmond third, Alan Pajari fourth, Travis Smith rounding out your top 5. It's fantastic green flag racer for quite a while there. Only had, what was it, two cautions or 1 caution there? I can't remember.
1 caution for 2 weeks in a row, and there you go. Fireworks going off here. Not quite the 4th anymore, but hey, whatever. We got fireworks here on the back stretch coming out of turn number 2. So we'll take them with some awesome looking fireworks here. We'll leave it on that. We'll step away real quick. We're going to get ready for the post-race show. We'll be right back with your top 3 here in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here for the Clan Wars server post-race show. An exciting race, one caution. It has been an awesome night here in Concord, North Carolina for Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have our top three with us here in the booth, and I will be talking to third place. That is Dell Osmond. Dell, you come in third here tonight. Again, what a race. What was this track like? And coming in it, did you expect some cautions? Did you think you'd go caution free? What was the mindset coming into Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Yeah, I definitely expected some cautions coming in here. In practice, all the cars looked really loose, actually, so I was expecting a couple of spinners, but, I don't think any of that really happened. We had that one at the beginning, but that was it. But, yeah, really good race here.
Definitely a good race. Overall, we, again, low on cautions. We had very few cautions last race as well. We knew there was a new penalty system in place, 3-strike rule. Do you think that new system in place has really calmed down people and allowed for some good racing?
Yeah, I think it's also that everybody's just getting more comfortable to running with each other now and getting used to these open setups. But, yeah, I'm sure the penalty system, that looming over people's head has helped a lot, too.
Well, a penalty system, people getting used to each other, it's all worked out for the good. Some great racing here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Overall, a fantastic race. You come in third. Anybody on that car you need to thank for making it as fast as it is and a solid third-place finish here tonight?
Yep, definitely. First, my sponsor, Ohio and Indiana Roofing Company. They're awesome. And then my teammates, Dustin Ping and... Sorry, I'm blanking. Brian Snare were in this race tonight. We built all the setups together, and I mean, we just do a really good job with it. We obviously weren't as fast as the top two, but yeah, we did a really good job with him tonight.
Well, you definitely had a good run. Again, congrats on the third place finish, and I do believe Will has caught up with our second place runner here tonight.
That's right. I'm here with Brian Middleton, driver of the number 80 Michelob Ultra car. How you doing tonight, Brian?
Doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing fantastic. Put on one heck of a show. Driving that car up 13 positions to the good and coming home in second place. How you feeling about that?
Anytime you can get a top 2 or 3, I think is probably going to be a good night. I really felt like we had a race-winning car, but Roy had a little bit better car for me towards the end, so I just didn't have anything for him.
We seen you catching up to him there in the last 10 or 15 laps there, and it looked like you were really going to put on one heck of a battle there coming to the end of the race. And it looked like you bombed a little bit coming out. I believe it was turn number 4. And what was going through your head when it happened there?
Hang on to it. Don't back it in the fence. Yeah, I'd made some last-minute changes on the set that last time in, and I bobbled the entry. Lost a ton of time on entry going into pit road, and made some last-second changes, and it seemed to work okay, but not quite enough.
Well, Brian, you put on one heck of a show coming through that field for the second place finish. Who do you have on your car that you'd like to give a shout out to and thank for helping you get up there tonight?
Well, we'll definitely thank Dirty Air Racing, Roy and Brian and Travis and everybody. We put these sets together, and definitely wouldn't be near as fast without those guys. And thank you guys up in the booth. Thanks to my wife and kid for allowing me to do this every week. Like, seriously, they put up with me down here way more than they probably should. So definitely going to shout out to them. So, yeah.
It's awesome, man. It's always great to have a good family to back you when you're out there doing something you love doing. So congratulations on your second place finish, and you happen to catch up with Hyde there yet?
I have indeed. Again, Roy Hyde, your winner here tonight. One of the two we call the class of the fields here tonight. Roy, you get the win here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Again, a win is always awesome. How much celebrating are you going to do here tonight?
We're going to do a pretty good bit amount, but Yeah, it was a fun race. I'm not a big celebrator, so you'll see a small burnout probably and be about it.
Oh, there you have it. A small burnout. We saw some fireworks as well. Still not the 4th, but hey, we'll take the fireworks anytime we can get them. You gained 13 spots from where you started to win this thing, which puts you back towards the back of the field. Again, we'd have to look. Not sure if you did actually qualify or not, but is there a strategy to starting at the back of the field, or was it just not the time you wanted in qualifying?
No, it was I didn't qualify at all, and I normally do that just because it forces me to kind of be easier on the car early on, because you're going to have to work your way through traffic if you do have a better car. And the guys qualifying and running up front, they tend to guard their position a little bit more heavily, and so you can use your stuff up and make a mistake or something trying to get up there and wrestle with them early. So to me, it's always worked out best just to do something like that, middle of the pack to the back of the pack, and just be cautious.
Well, there you have it. It worked out for you here tonight. You get the win. One final question before we let you thank your sponsors and everyone that makes that car as fast as it was here tonight. And that is, of course, the winner gets a chicken dinner somewhere. I think Tyler said he's paying for it. So that being said, how do you like your chicken? Do you like the spicy or do you like the regular?
I'm good with the old original recipe.
There you go.
Original recipe. Loving it.
Original recipe for Roy. That being said, again, who do you got on that car you need to thank for making it as fast as it is and putting you in victory lane here tonight?
Oh, just GM, next gen guys, Brian, Britt, Dirt, Mud, Travis, all of them. Everybody throws together information back and forth that gets these sets the way that they are. And without those guys, I don't think there'd be a lot of success that we've had. We wouldn't have without all those guys. And always got to thank the wife. She puts up with this grown man sitting back here on numerous nights and coming out here and racing with you guys online. So it's a pretty good thing to have a family that supports this stuff.
Well, definitely a good thing to have support behind you from the family. Again, congrats on the win here tonight. That is just about going to wrap it up for us here for the RaceX Next Gen Challenge Series. Of course, this was the Caldwell Lawn Care Service 200, and the whole thing brought to you by Ohio and Indiana Roofing. Will, any final words before we sign off for the night?
Not too much there, just fantastic racing. Congratulations to Roy Hyde on the win there in a 00 car, and thank you everybody for allowing me to come sit up here in the booth with Cody and help announce the race. Fun being up here and great racing. Great to see a good green flag run out there.
All right, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to call it a race, not at night. We still have one more to go. We're going to head over and get ready for the Northwest Truck Series, as they will be underway here shortly. Tonight's race is going to be at Kansas, also for 134 laps. We'll see, can Jeff Stabnow go 4 in a row here in the trucks? But we will see you there. Until then, have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you in just about an hour.
This broadcast is the copyrighted work of LSR TV and may not be rebroadcast, retranslated, or used in any form without the express written consent of 52 Media LLC and iRacing.com Motorsports Simulations. LSR TV would like to thank you for your support, and we hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast.